What have your impressions been in the week or so that you've taken over?
Look, it's sort of been a graduated of the group coming back to training. So we had our last batch in today, the 7+ year players, and so it's first time that the group's come together. But the overall impression, there's been a hunger for the work and a hunger to learn. So, but clearly it's a period of graduation into full training and getting some momentum.
You get all the guys back now. You're happy with the condition they're all in?
Well, you'd have to give me a little bit of opportunity to assess it all, and we'll get all our measurements, and Jason Webber and his team, weights and skin folds, and then time trial later in the week, so we get to see what everyone's break look like. And but my initial impressions are that there's some good signs, but we'll get the objective information and discern from there.
What's the focus for you? Is it to teach them your game plan, because it's probably a little bit different from what they're used to, or is it the combination of factors?
Well, look, we've got some simple priorities: fit, available, and everyone on the one game plan. So, it's 4 warns, 4 armed, isn't it? So from here, I mean, we've got a really solid start to the year. Premiers round 1 and 4 finalists out of the first 5. So we've certainly got 4 months. That's going to go really quickly from here. We really need to get into action and do the work, and get fit, get strong, and get everyone on the same page of the way we play. So it's a combination of all those things, and nothing sits in isolation.
Will Freo play differently to the St Kilda under Ross Lyon? Will there be a big difference, or a minor difference?
Well, clearly, first of all, we want to play both sides of the ball equally. If you want to be a finalist, you've got to be a strong contested ball team, and for 2 years in a row, that's an area we can improve on. And that's a reflection of a young group, so we want to build. That's why pre-season's important, building a strong body and a strong mindset, and so we can compete against the bigger body teams like Geelong and Collingwood. So that's the first aim, and then we want to play both sides of the ball equally. Attack when we get the ball and defend really well when we haven't got it. So there's some simple aims.
You mentioned the draw. Would you say it's favourable that you only play top 8 teams twice? I think it's only the Eagles, you play twice out of the top 8 teams.
Yeah, what I would say, as much as you certainly analyse Geelong and Sydney and then Carlton and St Kilda on a Friday night, they're all difficult, but I probably view it a little bit differently from most. They don't make easy games of AFL football, respect all opponents and prepare for them all the same. So who would have thought Eagles off the bottom be a top 4 team? So I think you'd be flippant when you dismiss the team's opportunity of improvement, and that's why the past is irrelevant. What everyone did last year is irrelevant. You've got to bring it to life and perform, because if the past dictated the future, we may as well not turn it up.
Alex Silvani said that it's going to be easier pre-season than so far. Did you identify that specifically as a slower start being needed?
No, well, certainly it's just our philosophy to bring them in and assess them and then plan their training. So we, at the end of the day, come round 1, they're all fit and available. So and perception's reality. So for some sauce there, it would be, obviously there's some changes where he's felt some areas a little bit easier, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll ramp up.
Where do you sit with Zac Dawson? Will he be playing for Fremantle next year if you can get him in the draft?
Well, certainly the list management model that Brad Lloyd heads up, along with Chris Bond and the list management committee, have a really strong strategic plan and focus, and they identified the need for a tall back, and they had Zac on their list as someone that's available. And then I was certainly clearly asked about Zac, and I put forward my view, and on balance they saw fit to pursue Zac, and Zac has been really keen to come and play for the Fremantle Football Club, and we're obviously really keen to get him, and he'll fly in next Tuesday to begin some training. But obviously there's some mechanisms that the AFL put in place, of which one is the pre-season draft that he has to go through there. So that's the aim. Is that the reality? Well, that's yet to eventuate.
So he will train with the team?
Yeah, he can come over and train, that's my understanding. Yeah, although if I made a mistake there, I think it's unlikely, but I think he's certainly coming over to flying in and looking to train. Yeah.
Leon Davis, is there any interest, was there any interest in getting him to Fremantle?
Leon Davis, what I'll say is, look, he's a highly decorated player, All-Australian last year, really respectful of Leon's talent, and in a real sense he'd be an addition to any club in the AFL. But I refer back to the club's strong strategic bent. I think post this draft, we will have drafted more players than anyone else in the AFL over the last 4 years, young players in. So we're not going to compromise that. I think the reality is we're still building bodies, still building the list. We certainly aim for the top 8, top 50% of the competition, but to bring Lyon in would really compromise, in my view and the list manager's view, that games being put into the likes of Jesse Crichton and Vic Michi and Nick Subban. So, yeah, I can categorically state that we have no desire to take Leon Davis with respect.
With 3 picks in the top 30 this Thursday's draft, what kind of player are you looking for?
Yeah, Gary Ablett Jr. would be nice. Hey? He's handy. Buddy Franklin, any of them out there? Look, we're really excited. There's only 2 other clubs with 3 picks below the top 30, and one being Greater Western Sydney and the other one being Brisbane. You know, so to have 16, 20 and 30, it's a really strong opportunity for our recruiting department to deliver, you know, some competitive beasts with great football talent. And, you know, is that a tall or medium or small? It doesn't faze me too much, as long as we take the best player they deem available at that pick. And my philosophy is let the cobblers do the cobbling, so they're empowered to do their job, and we'll let them do that.
So our Victorian friends, you haven't poached Dawson, have you? He's actually come to you and said, look, I'm going to get squeezed down at St Kilda. Like, how did it work for you? Did he come to you first, or did you chase him?
Well, I'm not sure of all the mechanics of it, but I think it's quite simple. He's been delisted by St Kilda, so I think it's really simple. He got delisted, and once he was delisted, we've certainly got an opportunity to pursue him. So, yeah, I think that's the simple mechanics of it. Yeah.
Ross, does the club need to have a bit of a accent on talls in this draft? Do you think the club's tall stocks are getting a little bit older?
Well, hence we've identified the need for, you know, a tall back who's 25. So specifically, I think you're always looking for some quality talls, you know. But as we said, you know, it's clearly a need, but as it is to get more midfielders and quick small forwards. And, you know, so it's not a super emphasis. I did read the article on the weekend that someone interpreted that's our focus. I think we don't want to give too much away to the other clubs, do we? So we'll have to wait and see what the draft holds.
A lot of your players look noticeably finer than when they left at the end of last season when they've come back. Was that something, an instruction to be very careful about the weight they came back in? Crowley could have shed maybe 5+ kilos.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, well, specifically, there's just an industry standard that, you know, once you've been in it a while, we all know what we're looking to do, and if you put on excess kilos that aren't really, you know, performing a function, it's not very good for you. So yeah, they certainly just spoke about what a disciplined break looks like, and we'd like you to come back in good shape. And if you're noticing it, it's great that that's your perception, that they've come back, or particularly, you know, that player is a little bit leaner. So hopefully that the readings, the calipers tell us that. Yeah.
Was there one? Is this an urban myth that one player you actually advised perhaps not to go on a post-season trip? I think it was to Bali. And I think you used an example. Chris Judd probably wouldn't go to Bali at this time. Did that actually happen?
No, I think we're getting to. Well, there's a reason some conversations are called private and they're held behind closed doors. You know, if I wanted everything to be public, I'd sort of invite you all in and sit down with the player. But yeah, I think, you know, player managers talk a fair bit, but that's okay. And that was just Anthony Morabito clearly had some hiccups off his reconstruction. I think he was on his 3rd, and he actually really spoke about I probably need to change my program and what I do. And I just said, well, I think whatever you do, just measure yourself against the best preparers in the competition. And I said, who do you think that is? And he thought Chris Judd was one of those, and then just posed the question, would Chris go? And Anthony said, no, he probably wouldn't. And I said, look, I'll leave it with you. You know, so I only picked the team. You know, so he decided not to go.
Ross, is there a player right now that won't be fit for round 1?
Look, I'm good, but I haven't got a crystal ball. So 4 months' time, I reckon, ask me on the Monday leading into versus Geelong. So look, our aim, a really simple aim, and it's one, post-Christmas, that nearly everyone's in full training. So if the aim is to get everyone in full training, we acknowledge that it's a brief period before Christmas. There's only so much can be done for 14 or 15 players at operation. So if we could get them so they're really able to fully train post-Christmas, you're in pretty good shape. So we think 98% post-Christmas will be in full training, and that's a pretty good result. Obviously, what occurs tomorrow I can't control, but if we get that, that's pretty good, and then from there we'll take it. But gee whiz, 4 months is a long time to forecast.
Just one, Clancy Pierce seemed to run well here, and Clancy's been one of those players that sometimes gets criticised for not being in great shape, and he hasn't really had an impact on AFL. Have you noticed a marked difference in him? He was up running.
So you think he's in good shape?
Oh, it looks.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's another good. So he's creating perception, isn't he, that he's come back lean and hungry. And look, I'd be fair to say what I've seen. I see a lean, hungry athlete, but he's still to create an opportunity. But he's giving himself his best chance. If he come back overweight and not lean, he's probably no chance.
Any interest in Paul Metters, Ross?
Well, categorically no.
Ross,
With respect, yeah.
Hayden Ballantyne, another one that looks in really good shape. He's talked about wanting to play up ground a little bit. Do you see him as a possibility in the midfield?
Yeah, I think we spoke about that. I think teams have about 14 players, the ability to go to different positions. And look, it's really tough being a small forward that's hunted week in, week out, and he's certainly respected in the competition and gets great small backs on him. So at some point, if it's not going his way, you need to be able to inject him, which has been done before, to be fair. I think he's gone through at times, and certainly as he gets another pre-season and matures, that's an opportunity for Hayden and the Fremantle Football Club team to get him through there. And there's no doubt he's an excitement factor for the Dockers supporters.
Just one
Nice
more.
one,
The song's being sorted out today. Do you have a say in that, the team song? And do you have a preference?
No, well, I'm a member, so I get one vote, and I think that's the beauty of it. It goes to the members, and they get to vote and control the future direction of what the club song is, and which is great. You want your members having a voice, so they'll select what they think is appropriate.
You're happy with?
I'm happy with what comes. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob.